Welcome back to the Bible Breakdown channel. Today's video will be the Antichrist explained. Have you ever wondered about the Antichrist? This figure is one of the most mysterious and debated characters in the Bible. Is he a specific person, a symbol of evil, or something else entirely? Today, we're going to dive deep into what the Bible actually says about the Antichrist, separating fact from fiction and exploring the prophecies surrounding this enigmatic figure. First, let's clear up a common misconception. The word Antichrist itself only appears a handful of times in the Bible, specifically in the letters of John, 1 John and 2 John. John doesn't describe a single, powerful world leader who will appear at the end of time. Instead, he speaks of many antichrists who have already come. In 1 John chapter to verses 18 and 19, he writes, "Dear children, this is the last hour, and as you have heard that the Antichrist is coming, even now many antichrists have come. They went out from us, but they did not really belong to us." So, according to John, an Antichrist is anyone who denies that Jesus is the Christ, the Messiah. It's a spirit of opposition to the core truth of Christianity. These aren't necessarily political leaders, but false teachers and deceivers who were active even in the early church, spreading doctrines that led people away from the true faith. John continues in chapter 4 verse 3, saying, "Every spirit that does not acknowledge Jesus is not from God." This is the spirit of the Antichrist, which you have heard is coming and even now is already in the world. This broadens the definition. The spirit of the Antichrist is a force and ideology that works against the truth of who Jesus is. It's a spirit of rebellion against God and his plan of salvation. So, in this sense, there have been countless antichrists throughout history, individuals and systems that have stood in opposition to Christ. But wait, what about the powerful, charismatic world ruler that everyone talks about? The one who will make a treaty with Israel, perform great signs and wonders, and demand to be worshipped? This figure is definitely in the Bible, but he's usually referred to by other names, not the Antichrist. Let's turn to the book of Daniel in the Old Testament. Daniel's prophecies, written centuries before Jesus, give us some of the first glimpses of this future ruler. In Daniel chapter 7, he sees a vision of the great beasts representing the powerful kingdoms. The fourth beast is particularly terrifying, and from it arise 10 horns. Then another little horn sprouts up, subduing 3 of the others. Daniel describes this little horn as having eyes like the eyes of a human and a mouth that spoke boastfully. This figure speaks against the Most High, oppresses his holy people, and tries to change the set times and the laws. He is given authority for a period of a time, times and half a time, which is often interpreted as 3.5 years. This little horn is one of the primary Old Testament pictures of this coming end-times dictator. Daniel gives us more detail in chapter 9. He speaks of a ruler who will come who will confirm a covenant or treaty with many for 1/7, which is widely interpreted as a 7-year period. In the middle of this 7-year period, he will put a stop to sacrifice and offering. Then, he will set up an abomination that causes desolation. This is a key event that Jesus himself references later. Now let's jump to the New Testament and see what the Apostle Paul has to say. In his second letter to the Thessalonians, Paul addresses a rumor that the day of the Lord had already come. He tells them not to be deceived. In chapter 2, he writes that the day of the Lord will not come until the rebellion occurs and the man of lawlessness is revealed, the man doomed to destruction. He will oppose and will exalt himself over everything that is called God or is worshipped, so that he sets himself up in God's temple, proclaiming himself to be God. Here, Paul gives this figure a new name, the man of lawlessness or the son of destruction. This lines up perfectly with Daniel's little horn. He's boastful, opposes God, and even commits the ultimate blasphemy by entering the temple and declaring himself to be God. This act is likely the abomination of desolation that Daniel and Jesus spoke of. Paul also adds that this man's coming will be accompanied by all kinds of counterfeit miracles, signs and wonders to deceive people. He is a master of deception, empowered by Satan himself. Finally, we come to the book of Revelation, which gives us the most vivid and symbolic picture of this end-times figure. In Revelation chapter 13, the Apostle John sees a vision of a beast coming out of the sea. This beast has 10 horns and 7 heads, echoing Daniel's vision. It's given power, a throne, and great authority by the dragon, who is identified as Satan. This beast, as he's often called, has a mouth that utters proud words and blasphemies and exercises its authority for 42 months again, that same 3.5-year period. It wages war against God's holy people and is given authority over every tribe, people, language, and nation. All inhabitants of the earth will worship the beast, all whose names have not been written in the Lamb's book of life. Revelation 13 introduces a second character, another beast, coming out of the earth. This second beast is often called the false prophet. He directs all worship to the first beast. He performs great signs, even making fire come down from heaven. He deceives the inhabitants of the earth and orders them to set up an image in honor of the first beast. And this is where the famous mark of the beast comes in. The false prophet forces everyone, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their forehead, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name. And that number, as Revelation 13:18 famously states, is 666. This mark represents ultimate allegiance and economic control, forcing a choice between worshipping the beast and basic survival. So, let's put all the pieces together. The term Antichrist in John's letters refers to a spirit of deception, and anyone who denies Jesus is the Christ. This spirit has been at work since the early church. However, the prophecies in Daniel, to Thessalonians, and Revelation point to a specific, singular individual who will rise to global power in the last days. This figure, known as the Little Horn, the man of lawlessness, and the beast, will be a charismatic and deceptive political and religious leader. He will emerge from a revived world power, confirm a 7-year covenant, likely with Israel, and break it halfway through. He will perform counterfeit miracles with the help of a partner, the false prophet. He will commit the abomination of desolation by declaring himself to be God in the temple. He will persecute believers and establish a global economic system, requiring his mark for anyone to participate. His reign of terror, however, is limited. The Bible is clear that it will last for 3.5 years or 42 months, and his end is certain. Daniel, Paul, and Revelation all describe his ultimate defeat at the second coming of Jesus Christ. The man of lawlessness will be overthrown by the breath of his mouth and destroyed by the splendor of his coming. The beast and the false prophet will be captured and thrown alive into the fiery lake of burning sulfur. The purpose of these prophecies isn't to scare us or to have us speculate endlessly about who this person might be. It's to prepare us, to warn us. The Bible tells us these things so that when they happen, believers will not be deceived. It's a call to be spiritually discerning, to hold fast to the truth of the gospel, and to place our ultimate hope not in world systems or leaders, but in the triumphant return of the true King, Jesus Christ. So, while the world may be fascinated by the idea of a sinister Antichrist, the real focus for believers should be on the Christ. By knowing him, by following his word, and by living in the power of his Spirit, we can stand firm against any and all deception, whether it's from the many antichrists of today or the final beast of tomorrow. The story doesn't end with the Antichrist's reign, it ends with Christ's victory. And that's the ultimate good news. Thanks for watching. I hope this look into the scriptures has brought some clarity to a complex topic. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into biblical prophecy. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.